The official election dates are yet to be announced, but with the BJP and the Congress both releasing their two lists of candidates, elections are already here. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. Today we'll be looking at what politics, what political messaging is reflected in the first two lists of the BJP as well as the principal opposition party, the Congress. The BJP has intriguingly opted for fresh faces, making a very interesting political formulation where there seems to be no anti-incumbency at all against the top leader, the Prime Minister, but the BJP clearly perceives that there is or there could be anti-incumbency against its members of parliament. The Congress has released the names of much fewer candidates than the BJP. How do we read the Congress list? This on a day when Mallikarjun Kharge is talking about blocked funds and the party being short of funds to run its campaign. As we look at the countdown to election 2024, let's decode these two lists. Let's introduce our guest on the program today as we look at the larger political messaging of the first two lists. Joining us from the Congress party, we have today Kapil Yadav, spokesperson of the party. Namaskar, sir. Rasheed Kidwai, whose podcast on Mojo Story has been making waves, is here with us. I always say there's no one who quite knows politics like him. Prolific author and journalist. Welcome back to the program. Kartikeya Batra, somebody who has done all of our recent election programming with us, and we're looking forward to having him with us on D-Day. Is back with us after a long gap. Welcome back, Kartikeya. Also joining us is Anurag Naidu. Anurag Naidu is a political analyst. Typically, is a supporter of the government, but sometimes has a few acerbic comments. Which way will he be looking at the list? We'll find out. And Asif Bhamla, spokesperson and leader of the BJP from Maharashtra, is with us as well. Good to see you, Asif, sir, and welcome to the program. All right, before I get the two politicians in, let me get the non-politicians, because the politicians then tend to take all the space. So with respect to the politicians, I'll start with you, Rasheed. Something leaping out about either or both of the lists? Rasheed Kidwai, we'll start with you.
I think confidence and a kind of BJP is supremely confident in places like Uttar Pradesh. Defeated a lot of sitting MPs, but where where it is like little facing a task. For instance, in Delhi, where Congress and Aam Aadmi Party have come together, you see 6 out of 7 nominees have been benched. There is no explanation why they've been benched, because they had won on Modi. More importantly, ministers who are in the government and who have not been and Rameshwar, they have not resigned.
Rasheed, I'm going to interrupt you because we're having trouble with your network. But let me just actually take the larger point that you make. I got the gist of it. Confidence in the BJP, except in Delhi, where only one sitting member of Parliament, Kartikeya, has been actually retained. Everybody else has actually been dropped, has been cast aside. What's the larger message that's emanating, according to you, Kartikeya? We're seeing these changes in Delhi, the national capital, the most dramatic sort of BJP calculation that there's anti-incumbency against sitting parliamentarians is visible in the national capital. Kartikeya, go ahead.
So, Barkha, I think the big takeaways that you were talking about, I have some takeaways from the BJP list and some from the Congress's list. My takeaway from the BJP list is that it's confident, it has fielded its big guns, and at the same time, wherever it has found that some calculations could go wrong, it has changed faces. So Delhi is one example. Haryana is the other example, where you saw this entire surgery in the state government and you saw the ex-chief minister moving to the Lok Sabha fight. That is, and Rajya Sabha members being given Lok Sabha tickets. Rajiv Chandrasekhar, Piyush Goyal, it is very clear that they want their top ministers to come in as Lok Sabha faces. That is an interesting message coming out from the BJP. So they are confident, but at the same time, they seem to be very clear with their planning, strategizing, and very clinical in their approach so far. And that is the sign of a party with confidence. The BJP has a lot of things going for itself. When a lot of things are going for you, they make you look better as well. So in general, that is holding for the BJP. Now, And the exact opposite is true for the Congress. Not exact, but to a large extent. What I mean by that is, Barkha, we've all said, and at least I have said for some time, that the Congress, its prospects in the Hindi heartland in West, where it is in direct fights against the BJP, will lie with strong candidates, because in these seats the Congress's symbol and the national leadership is not able to pull through. They will need inspiring choices in terms of candidates. So far, the seats you have seen from Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, I'm not very inspired. Vaibhav Gehlot and not Ashok Gehlot, Nakul Nath and not Kamal Nath. Those are the kinds of choices that one has to look at. Gaurav Gogoi seems to be one good choice, but it was a given. But all the big guns that the Congress had, now was the time to field them all, because you are not going to get votes on your symbol or your national leadership in these states. These are the states where local issues and local candidates were to pull you to victory. So if you want to win 5 out of 25 seats in Madhya Pradesh, or you want to win, 5 out of 29 in Madhya Pradesh, or you want to win 5 out of 25 in Rajasthan, you need to give inspiring candidates. That is missing. Second, it seems a lot of things are on hold for Rahul Gandhi's yatra to end. And that cannot be how a political party works. Third, a lot of the safe seats have been Kerala, for example, has been declared. Chhattisgarh seems to be a safer area. But what about high-profile seats like Amethi and Raebareli? You are not giving out muscular messages that you're in for the fight. And just talking about perception. And I'm sure the Congress spokesperson will have enough points to defend. But I'm just telling you what I felt. And finally, certain things that don't ally with what the Congress has been saying. So, for example, the Congress was high on, women when the women's reservation bill came out. But the last list that came out, at least I don't remember a single female candidate in that list. Correct me if I'm wrong, because when Mr. Venugopal spelled out the age brackets, the caste, there was no mention of gender. So these are the things coming out of the Congress's list. It is a smaller list, conservative list, low on inspiration, low on euphoria. The BJP at the same time, as I said, a lot of things are going in their favor, and they seem to be quite aware of what's happening, and they seem to be taking action.
So if we can just come out of these shots, please, because I actually can't see them. Kartikeya, the main point that you're actually making is that the BJP has pushed its big names into the fray, and the Congress hasn't done that. The Congress might argue that in the Nakul Nath and the Vaibhav Gehlot is the party finally moving towards its younger sort of generation. Otherwise, you keep saying the Congress is same old, quite literally. So let's open up the points that you've made. Rasheed, we totally lost you. Let me try and just let you complete your point before we come to Anurag. Rasheed, Kidwai, please go ahead.
Yeah, so Barkha, there is no plan that the Congress list is going to be over very quickly.
No, Rasheed, we're having a bad day. Okay, you're back. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm saying,
sorry, we're having a bad day with your connection. Yeah.
So the Congress has a very short list. Only 250 candidates are going to be in fray approximately. So it's not going to be 543 candidates. And the biggest problem in Congress best put.
No, sorry, Rasheed, we can't actually hear you. Anurag, let me bring you in. Rasheed, every fourth word of yours is just getting cut off. So I'm really sorry. It's a real pity. Anurag, go ahead before I come to Asif and our Congress.
Yes, yeah. Barkha, I see a very good, a similarity in both the lists. Both the lists have focused majorly on winnability, whether it is Congress and BJP. But the BJP list, Barkha, it has got a very good substance. There are three important points. Where they felt in states like Delhi, there's a high amount of anti-incumbency. And Delhi has traditionally been voting on the face of Prime Minister, not the candidate. So they don't want to retain that. They don't want to push on to the candidate so that then they face anti-incumbency. So they replaced. In states like Maharashtra, very few replacements. In the first list, if you see 6 people, I would potentially say only 4 because Mr. Dotre's son has got the ticket, Preeta Munde's sister has got it. So effectively, technically for me, it's the same seat. It's a replacement. It's not a replacement. So out of 20, it's only 4 seats that they've replaced. In Maharashtra, they've been very safe. In Karnataka, they have replaced 50%. And also, one of the very good observation that I have, Barkha, is where they don't have a strong candidate. BJP has gone ahead for a future leadership. For example, Madhvi ji from the MP candidate from Hyderabad, They know they don't know, they are not going to win Hyderabad. But she's going to come up with a very aggressive face of BJP, and she knows she's going to make a dent, and it's the strategy for the next upcoming elections. In states like Andhra Pradesh, they're negotiating for the upcoming elections. So BJP, where they're weak, they are focusing on the future. Where they're strong, they're retaining. When they are things are dicey and they want to push towards on the face of Prime Minister Modi, they're replacing the candidates and making it a very centralized, presidential form of an election. So I think they have worked out their strategies well. It is clearly evident that Congress did not have a good bucket of candidates. Barkha, it's very easy to say आपने नकुल नाथ को दे दिया, but और कोई candidate है नहीं. In MP, if you see the seats, there are people are not willing to contest on a Congress ticket. I don't want to take the name of a Congress president that I know about in a state who does not want to contest from his own seat. It's a state president. I don't want to take name, but I'm telling that they're all feeling that okay, मेरे को अगर phone आ गया तो I'll be in trouble because then I have to mobilize resources, a lot of other things that I need to do. So there are not many people who are very keen on a Congress ticket. That's a big problem for Congress.
Let's bring in the politicians in just a second. We're speaking about not too many risks or dramatic decisions taken in Maharashtra, contrasted, for example, with Delhi. But there is the concept of the disappointed politician, right? And that exists in every party. Gopal Shetty today dropped in Maharashtra. Not getting a BJP ticket. His protesters actually visibly demonstrated against that, which is very rare and unusual to see in a party like the BJP under Modi Shah. Before I come to Asif Bhamla and Kapil Yadav, this is what Gopal Shetty said after being dropped. Take a look.
देखिए, धरना आंदोलन करने का अधिकार कार्यकर्ताओं का है, वो करेंगे, एक दो दिन धरना आंदोलन करेंगे। इस प्रकार के धरना आंदोलन पार्टी के नेताओं ने और हम लोगों ने बहुत देखा है, हम लोगों ने भी किया है। स्वाभाविक है, इतने लंबे समय से जिन कार्यकर्ताओं के साथ में काम किया तो उनको थोड़ा शौक लगना ये स्वाभाविक है। लेकिन मैं मानता हूं कि इस बार 7 बार मेरे जैसे व्यक्ति को चुनाव लड़ना और शानदार ढंग से जीतना और फिर उसके बाद में उससे शानदार ढंग से काम करना, जनता और कार्यकर्ताओं का सपोर्ट प्राप्त करना, ये कोई छोटी बात नहीं है। इसलिए जो प्राप्त हुआ है उसको दिल और दिमाग में रखकर मैं आगे का जीवन जी पाऊंगा। और अभी आज सवेरे ही मुझे मालूम पड़ा कि ऐसा निर्णय होने वाला है, तो उसके बाद में मैं नेस्को में एक बहुत बड़ा उद्घाटन किया। उसके बाद में बांद्रा मुंबई भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अध्यक्ष आशीष जी को जाकर मिला। अभी शाम को एक मलाड में चौक का भूमि पूजन करके आया, इस इंद्रायण 3 का। और मैं ऐसे ही काम करते रहूंगा क्योंकि मैं काम करने के लिए पैदा हुआ और पार्टी में मैं काम करने के लिए आया था, कोई प्रतिष्ठा पाने के लिए नहीं आया था, कोई पैसे बनाने के लिए नहीं आया। और मैं आज थोड़ा सुकून महसूस करता हूं कि मैं बहुत बड़े तनाव से भी मुक्त हो गया, क्योंकि मैं पार्टी के बंधन में काम करना पड़ता था, एक मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट। बहुत सारा काम करने के बाद में भी कार्यकर्ताओं को जिस प्रकार का सहयोग मिलना चाहिए वो मिलता नहीं था, तो थोड़ा मन की खुलकर बात नहीं कर पाता था, तो उससे अभी मैं मुक्त हो गया हूं। लेकिन एक बहुत लंबे समय में कार्यकर्ताओं ने बहुत साथ और सहयोग दिया, इसलिए उनका भी मैं अभिनंदन करूंगा।
Okay, let's get reactions. Asif Bhamla, Gopal Shetty, they're clearly upset at being dropped. His supporters also being upset at being dropped. But yes, signs of rebellion are very rare in the BJP, whether it's Shivraj Singh Chauhan or Vasundhara Raje Scindia or all the chief ministers who have been replaced, or Manohar Lal Khattar, who's now been nudged into fighting a Lok Sabha election. Most people seem to accept this quietly. What's the big message from the two BJP lists, Mr. Bhamla?
देखिए, ये these are signs when you have a leader who's strong. पहले भारत था लाचार, अब भारत बना है मोदी का परिवार। सो वो अंतर होता है। और जब लोगों को पता है कि परिवार का जो मुखिया है वो जबरदस्त है और वो दमदार है, दमखम है उसमें, और देश को आगे लेके जाने की, विकसित भारत की जब वो बात करते हैं तो इतनी सारी ताकत भर देते अपने नेताओं में और कार्यकर्ताओं में कि गोपाल शेट्टी जी, आई रिमेम्बर, I was in my youth days, in my NSUI days when we were in the Congress, but I've been seeing him as an MLA. Now he's had such a fabulous innings. He's done a exemplary job in his constituency when he was an MLA, when he was a Minister of State, when he was a Lok Sabha MP. So there is no reason to just remove him out. आपने कहा, you opened the debate by saying that there is no anti-incumbency against a top leader, of course, which is Narendra Modi ji, and we don't expect that to happen. But again, even if you ask me, our local candidates of Lok Sabha have also in very
So then why have so many? So why has the BJP dropped 21% so far? 21% of its sitting members of parliament, 6 out of 7 in the national capital.
I'm submitting to you. So that's what I'm trying to say, that there is no anti-incumbency even in terms of the candidate. But now it's a policy of the party कि कुछ नए लोगों को एक नई उम्मीद की किरण हमें चाहिए, एक fresh, उससे कहते हैं fresh breather चाहिए. Now if you ask me, Mihir Kotecha is a fresh MLA who's young, who's swag, who's dynamic. He has replaced Manoj Kotak. Now last time Manoj Kotak was equally young, swag, dynamic. He was just a corporator. He was the leader of the standing committee there. So he was given. So such chances only BJP can take, and there will be only no revolt in a party like BJP. आपने सुना गोपाल शेट्टी जी ने क्या कहा? ये कार्यकर्ताओं का काम है आंदोलन लेना करना. मैं बहुत खुश मिजाज हूँ, मैं बहुत खुश हूँ जो मैंने किया, जो पार्टी ने मुझे दिया, जो मैंने पाया, मुझे उससे खुशी है. तो यहाँ पर जो है इस किस्म की लालच नहीं होती. Don't be surprised when any biggest and tallest face will be changed, because we don't believe in dynasty. We don't believe कि भाई इनको देना है तो देना ही है.
But you've taken, but you have taken all the dynasts from the Congress. You have taken all the dynasts. Milind Deora, Jitin Prasad, Jyotiraditya Scindia, RPN Singh.
The Shiv Sena has taken Milindji, and Milindji is also very competent with a very clean and a very good image and a very.
No, I am making no judgment on Milind as a friend. I am making absolutely no negative judgment on his competence.
So what I'm trying to say is that कि यहाँ पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी में इस बार अगर आप देखो तो level of confidence in the leadership. Now candidate is knows कि भाई हमें अब सिर्फ हमने 5 साल इतना काम किया है. अभी दिल्ली की जब बात आती है तो दिल्ली में of course the dynamics are different, because again we have an
okay, let's get Kapil Yadav to come in. Let's get Kapil Yadav to come in. You made it the point that in a party run by Modi there will never be any rebellion. Mr. Yadav, you've heard some of the critiques of the list that have come out from the Congress. I think Kartikeya Batra and Rasheed kind of making the point that confidence is missing in the Congress, drawing up of names. The big guns of the Congress are not out there in the way that the BJP's big guns are being made to fight. Piyush Goyal is going to make his debut in his Lok Sabha election. Rajiv Chandrasekhar has been sent to take on Shashi Tharoor. That we're not seeing that kind of chance taking in the Congress. What do you say, Kapilji?
No, Barkha ji, that's not true. That's not true. Our General Secretary organization, Mr. K.C. Venugopal, is contesting election. Whom you want bigger than him? So that's not true. Let the entire list come out. You'll see the big guns contesting the elections. Just now, my friend said that we have pitched in fresh faces. Sorry to say, but Dr. Harshvardhan and Gautam Gambhir, they backed off from elections. And if that is the criteria, you say that you have to pitch in fresh faces. Why don't you pitch in a fresh face for the Prime Minister? It's been 10 years. It's been enough. We have seen him. So that's not true. And what Kartikeya said about Raebareli and Amethi, you'll see some big guns contesting Raebareli and Amethi. The CEC of Uttar Pradesh is yet to commence. Let our CEC happen. There's a procedure in the party. So everyone, the desirable candidate, the eligible candidates will come in and you'll see the list.
But Kapilji, even Rahul Gandhi's own candidature from Wayanad has been opposed. Can we come out of this now, please? Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. I'm saying Rahul Gandhi's own candidature from Wayanad has been opposed by your India Alliance ally, the left, right? And the fact that you haven't taken a decision on Uttar Pradesh yet betrays a kind of underconfidence.
No, that's not a kind of underconfidence, Barkha ji. He served Wayanad for last 5 years, and it is his moral duty to contest elections against. Otherwise, the Noida media would have again said that Rahul ji ran away from Wayanad, and now he's gone back to Amethi. So they have reasons for everything.
Okay, let's open this up. Rasheed, last attempt to try and get a comment from you. We've had terrible network troubles with you. Go ahead, Rasheed. Hoping this time is better. Go ahead.
respect that defines the BJP list, because there's a lot of fear of the top leadership, and there's a lot of respect also for Narendra Modi. I won't say in that particular order. So that defines. So whoever BJP has fielded, is seen as a master stroke, and whoever BJP is not fielded, these people are very quiet. There is no, disquiet or rebellion, because, as I said, it's a combination of fear and respect. The Congress story is very different. They say, see, the entire selection process has been jalebi making. See, somebody tells, Rahul Gandhi says, speak to KCV, that's KC Venugopal. Venugopal says, talk to Kharge ji says, talk to Rahul Gandhi, and whole thing goes on. So the senior leaders, they said they wanted to contest, but nobody approached them. So this jalebi making business is going on. And just one small point, Barkha, about KC Venugopal. He became Rajya Sabha member from Rajasthan in 2022. So he has his tenure is 2028. Assuming he wins, then Congress will lose a seat in Rajasthan. So it's a clear case of non-application of mind. And this non-application of mind is very much visible in many state. It's very individualistic. Sachin Pilot is not contesting because he's saying, I don't want to, be out of Rajasthan, where he's a MLA. Lovely is saying that, he wants to campaign. There is no bigger this thing, Barkha, in election time, election season. There is no better or bigger service to the party than to be fighting election and winning.
So you believe Sachin Pilot should have been contesting?
I think they should have been no choice at all. The BJP has no choice, so people are just fighting election as they've been told to. The BJP is taking this election very seriously. Congress is not. In Congress, it's all very laid back, and people are doing it in a very individual way, that whether somebody wants to contest or not. And Barkha, I mean, I should not be making this observation, but there's also thing, a lot of congressmen and senior leaders that me and you interact, they think it's a waste of time and money. So they are not hopeful. They are just saying, like, there's a whole buzz in Congress that, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, who's probably going to lose, is going to be replaced as a leader of opposition or leader of Congress party in Lok Sabha by KC Venugopal. If this is a bar, this is a level, then only God can save Congress party.
Only God can save Congress party. Mr. Kapil Yadav doesn't have an enviable job on the program today, but Mallikarjun Kharge has spoken about the party not having enough funds to canvass in this campaign. I want to play that clip out, come to Kartikeya and Anurag right after, and then we'll return to the BJP Congress. Listen.
हमने ये कहा कि जो रीजनेबल कानून से हमने जो डोनेशन कलेक्ट किए थे और हर पार्टी करती है, तो अब वो हमारे पार्टी का अकाउंट्स बंद कर दिए और इलेक्शन है, अब चल रहा है। अगर हमारे 200-300 करोड़ रुपए बंद कर दिए तो इलेक्शन कैसा करना। और उसके अलावा हमारा 4 अकाउंट है, यूथ कांग्रेस का उन्होंने सीज किया, बंद किया, महिला कांग्रेस का किया, दिल्ली का किया, AICC का किया। हर अकाउंट अगर बंद करे तुम और बैंकों से चेक ऑनर नहीं करने दिए तो इलेक्शन, ये फेयर इलेक्शन होता है।
Okay, before I come to Kartikeya and Anurag, Kapil ji, this argument that we don't have money, I understand that there's an ongoing income tax case, but is that really what's holding the party back? Or is it the absence of saying, this is our leader, this is our plan, this is our narrative? How do you explain Mr. Kharge's statement?
No, Barkha ji, just try to understand the whole situation practically. Let's say I take out all the money from your pocket and you're not allowed to pay your electricity bills and water bills, and I say you run your show from the studio. Is it possible for you to run your show from the studio? Our 4 accounts has been seized. Youth Congress, NSUI, Mahila Congress accounts has been seized. So where do we get the money from? That's true. That's true. There's no doubt about it.
So
we don't have black money bonds with us to just, we can go and encash those bonds and just fight elections.
Well, actually, 10% of all electoral bonds have gone to the Congress party. It's not true that you have no bonds. 57% have gone to the BJP. But your account is not zero. You have not taken money from electoral bonds. I just wanted to make that point. This point made again and again, Kartikeya, before I come to Asif and Anurag, that it's not a level playing field. Do you really think that's what's holding the Congress back? Or do you think that, I think Rasheed poor Rasheed is having a really bad day with his network. But one of the points Rasheed has made earlier is that he doesn't think the Congress is even fighting for 2024. He thinks they're already thinking about 2029. They've already kind of accepted defeat. Is that what reflects in their energy, Kartikeya Batra?
So multiple things, right, Barkha? Is it a level playing field? Absolutely not. I mean, I think electoral finance is a dark underbelly of Indian politics that we don't discuss enough. And I think more discussions are required on that topic on a lot of fronts. So I absolutely feel that it's not a level playing field. The BJP has a massive advantage owing to the fact that it's been in power and is in a position of power, not just in the center, but in multiple states as well. One. Number two, is the Congress playing for 2029, 2024? Well, honestly, Barkha, it is tough, right? Because there are all these state elections in between where the Congress has a decent chance. Congress has a decent chance in Haryana, for instance. The alliance has a decent chance in Maharashtra. Next year, Delhi and Bihar. The opposition alliance has a very strong chance of making a comeback. So, in terms of Lok Sabha elections, has the Congress given up? It seems like that their leaders are on ideological yatra, and that's a long-term project, which in itself is not a problem. The problem is that when you have an ideological project, at the same time, you need to have a functional official machinery that takes care of day-to-day functioning of the party. And as Rasheed sir is saying, if that is taking the shape of go to Mr. KCV, go to Mr. Kharge, then that process is not happening well. So on the one hand, if you have an ideological yatra, which is a long-term project, that will only start yielding dividends in a 5 to 7 year sort of time horizon. At the same time, who is taking care of the short-term management of the party? That is the missing link. And linked to that is, I agree with what Anurag said, that, it is also true that a lot of people don't want to fight elections from a Congress ticket, especially north of the Vindhyas. Because as I said, that is where the candidates themselves have to fend for themselves, not just in terms of credibility, but also financially. Right? So it is said very famously, Congress is a poor party of rich individuals. But those individuals probably don't want to put in that investment at this point because they don't see a lot of dividends, and that will vary state by state. Now, as I said initially, the choices made by the Congress are not very inspirational. Let me make an amendment to that. Most choices are not. Let's go to Chhattisgarh. The choice of Mr. Baghel, the choice of Mr. T.S. Singh Deo, those are good choices. You are giving a message that you are in for the fight. But then when I see the list from Rajasthan, what Rasheed sir was saying, there is no Sachin Pilot, there is no Ashok Gehlot. So far, there is no Dotasra either, if I'm not wrong. So maybe he'll feature in one of the lists. But understand the fact that in several states right now, the Congress is too dependent on the candidate's face. And if in such an election you don't have inspiring faces, then your success rate will obviously go down. It is unlike what is happening, say, in Telangana or in Kerala or in Tamil Nadu, where the Congress's symbol or its alliance's ability to transfer votes is high. And so there Mr. Venugopal can pull through an election on the basis of the symbol, the leader, because they're popular there. But in these states, Rajasthan, Haryana, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, you need the candidates to be charismatic. I can tell you, if in Haryana, for example, Dipinder Hooda fights from Rohtak, you will have a very strong chance of the Congress making it, making a dent in Haryana. But if you don't have those leaders coming in and some proxies are being fielded, then I'm not sure what's going to happen. And I think one example before you move on, Barkha, 2019, in 2014 in Delhi, the Congress stood third in all 7 seats. In 2019, look at the choice of candidates. They fielded Sheila Dikshit ji. They fielded JP Agarwal ji. They fielded Arvinder Singh Lovely ji. And they all stood second in their seats. They lost, but they all came from third to second. It shows that candidates matter, especially for a party like Congress, especially in North and Western India.
Okay, I think that's a very important point, and it's the same point that Rasheed Kidwai has been making as well, that this idea that you fight with everything you have. I mean, I'm borrowing an analogy, Rasheed. I remember Anurag from in the Kargil war. The Indian Army chief at that time, General Ved Malik, he said, we will fight with what we have. And we fought with everything we had. I think the point that Kartikeya and Rasheed are making is that the Congress isn't doing that. The Congress isn't putting कि हमारे पास जो है हम लगा देंगे, दाव पे लगा देंगे. That's the first point. But let's, Anurag, also talk about some of the those who have been dropped by the BJP and some of the new debutants who are going to enter electoral politics. Right? Piyush Goyal is now going to fight from Mumbai. You have a Rajiv Chandrasekhar who's been pitted against a very strong Congress candidate in Shashi Tharoor. You have an ML Khattar who's fighting his first Lok Sabha election from Karnal. What does this tell you about the BJP's thinking, Anurag?
Yeah, I think it clearly tells only one message, Barkha. It clearly tells that winnability matters. And if the party has given you a lot of position, power, and party has given you opportunity, the party also expects you to stand up and contest and win a seat for yourself. And in fact, but one thing that I'm very surprised, I feel that it is a level field playing field. I mean, you cannot complain about not having a level playing field. Politics, every single election is a new election of the day. And first of all, the leadership's responsibility to create an atmosphere, create an environment of trust and the positivity, then the investment flows in. You cannot, the electoral bonds have no direct relation with winnability. And I can challenge with, we can sit in AC rooms, do analysis, but if you have not hit the ground, I have hit the ground, I can tell you as candidates, you need to know that if there is an environment, money flows in. If you create a good environment of winnability, money flows in. It is the leadership. If they create that kind of because where is Rahul Gandhi? He's in Manipur and everywhere when he was needed in Bihar. So if you are not on the ground, your candidates will not get that kind of confidence. So I would say it is a level playing field, but they have thrown their hat out. So I would say it is more of an intention. It is more of a cultural issue. And also, Barkha, let's also understand. It is good to say, okay, Mr. Huda should contest election, Mr. XYZ should contest election. But tell you the fact and the reality, Barkha, you know it very well. Today, it is not a situation that Mr. Gandhi can dictate terms to Mr. Huda. He's on the mercy. Today, Mr. Gandhi cannot dictate terms to Mr. Siddaramaiah. I bet you do it with Siddaramaiah. He's not going to listen to you. The reason is you have lost your power and stature as a leadership. First, you have to build that, and then the party will listen to you. You take an example of Mr. Sheila Dikshit and Mr. Agrawal. Those were the days when the high command was powerful. People would listen to you. Today, you don't have your own clout. So I think you have to first start building your own brand. You're building your own weight.
So this is an interesting point. Before we give the last word to the two politicians, Mr. Bhamla, you want to come in? I was going to go to Rasheed, but you can come in there. Go ahead.
You see, the difference with BJP is that BJP, it's the winnability, and winnability. That's the most important. You don't here we don't have to fill a nomination form for a member of parliament, or you don't know who's going to be given a ticket. It's very, very tight-lipped. You don't know. I mean, tomorrow, Mr. Gopal Shetty gets a call that you have done enough for the party, and this time you're not contesting. So that is the might of the party. अगर आप मुझे बताइए कांग्रेस के राज में did they have the courage to tell Ashok Gehlot to step down and let Sachin Pilot fight? Today, can the Congress force Sachin Pilot to fight? Today they said नहीं, जो नाम आ गया वो नाम आ गया है. Piyush ji ka naam hai, so he's fighting. He's already left into his constituency today. He's already there, and the party cadres have been called there. So that's how the party works in an auto mode. You see, we believe that जो party का आदेश है वही सर्वोपरि है. यहाँ पर मुझे पता है कि कांग्रेस में, though I don't know if I should be mentioning this, I know how much hard and difficult and what challenge it has become for the Congress leaders to force people like Vaibhav Gehlot and even for that matter Kamal Nath's sons to accept the tickets. That's not our problem. It's their issue. But we are aware, and it doesn't remain undercovers anymore. We know. I mean, that's not the case, because here there is a strong sense that no, हमें एक अनुशासन के हिसाब से चलना है. हमें मिल गया तो हमें काम करना.
But you know, the flip side of it might be the thought that almost everybody is replaceable in the BJP, with the exception of a Yogi Adityanath. The might of the party, as you call it, Asif Bhamla. Today, any chief minister can be told, now you go and do something else. Whether it's a Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who won the election for you in Madhya Pradesh, whether it's Mr. Khattar.
No,
you tell me. You tell me.
This to you back. Yeah, I will reciprocate. Yeah. Yes, of course, certainly he has done. देखिए काम बोलता है ना at the end. He's not that. It's not that he's been liked by the number one, number two, or anybody. He's proved. He's delivered.
Okay,
He's
Okay,
developing
Anurag is wanting to come in.
in the corporation. He's developing in development.
Okay.
मोदी जी के जो संकल्प है उनको अंजाम पे लाना योगी जी का काम है, तो क्यों हम उन्हें रिप्लेस करें? We also know.
Okay. Rasheed is wanting to say something to Asif ji. Let me just get Rasheed in. Yeah, go ahead, Rasheed. Yeah.
आसिफ, तो आपने सुना है, जब खुदा हुस्न देता है नजाकत आई जाती है।
बेशक बिल्कुल इरशाद, मैं आपकी बात का ममनून हूँ।
That is the present BJP.
तो हमें हुस्न ऊपर वाले ने नरेंद्र मोदी जी की शक्ल में अगर दिया है, तो आपको तो इस बात का एहसास कर रहे हो, और वो भी किडवाई जी की जुबान से उनके हुस्न की तारीफ हो रही है, तो मेरे लिए तो ये बहुत ही मुकद्दस बात है, क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि किडवाई साहब बड़े कंजूस है इस मामले में, कम से कम हमारी पार्टी की, हमारे नेताओं की तारीफ करने में, तो मैं इसको सराहने
तारीफ समझ रहे हैं, ये आप इसको तारीफ समझ रहे हैं, यही बहुत अच्छी बात है। What I'm saying is, Barkha, there are phases in the Congress. The problem is a lack of ownership. There is nobody who is owning this election of 2024. Initially, Congress thought it would be regional parties would be ahead and Congress would be behind, and that's how this India alliance, but their whole thing has gone haywire. So now the thing is, Mr. Kharge, he needs to have this ownership because he is the official AICC president. Rahul Gandhi thinks it is Kharge's election. Kharge thinks the political leadership is with the Gandhis. So there are a lot of problems are there, and that is what I'm saying. When the party is going through bad batch, it happens. It happened with Mr. Asif's party 1984 when they just got 2 seats, Lok Sabha seat, and that is what when it was BJP's first election after this formation. This happens. I'm not justifying what's happening to Congress party, but this is the long and short of it.
Okay, this is very interesting that no one actually owns the election in the Congress. Now, on a day when Praneeth Kaur, this was expected, Praneeth Kaur has joined officially the BJP in Punjab. First Anurag, then Kartikeya, and then Kapil. Kapil has also been waiting. So I actually go Anurag, Kapil, and then Kartikeya. Anurag, go ahead. Yeah.
One quick point, Barkha, that we should all be discussing, in just 30 seconds. One good example of how you make when your leadership is executive and hands-on in nature, you build your own power. And one good example is Chandrababu Naidu. For last 1 month, he has been asking for an appointment for Amit Shah. He's been in Delhi for a week long just to negotiate and gift 6 seats to BJP where they had less than 1% of votes in a state like Andhra Pradesh. 6 seats where TDP will not contest, transfer the votes to BJP. And that's how the power equation, when you're hands-on and executive, things will flow to you. You don't need to, raise a electoral bond and spend money. Money will come to you. People will come to you and say, boss, please come with me. Please partner with me. And this Chandrababu Naidu is the one leader who happened to be the convener of the steering committee of NDA, not to forget. So,
and I think that's an important point, Kapil Yadav, and then I'll give Kartikeya the last word. Whether it's in Haryana, where you could have 1 minute, Asif bhai, where you could have converted the situation into an advantage for yourself, maybe you'll try to do that in the assembly. Whether it's in Andhra Pradesh, where Jagan Reddy has no love lost for the Congress leadership. Andhra is a situation where both Jagan and Naidu are tripping over themselves to join the NDA. Why has the Congress, even in the southern states, like in Andhra Pradesh, not been able to convert this into a moment of opportunity? Please respond to the argument that everybody is making that no one is taking ownership of the election in the Congress party.
No, that's not the fact, Barkha ji. That's not the fact. See, we have eligible candidates like Bhupendra Singh Hooda and others in Haryana. But the problem is the moment they pitch in, we pitch them as a candidate, you'll send ED. And they'll be busy answering to ED. See, I'll just give you an example about this. The day before yesterday, we have an MLA from Jharkhand, Amba Prasad. BJP was behind that MLA. She had sent a lot of BJP had sent a lot of RSS people, and they wanted her to contest Lok Sabha election. Finally, when she refused to contest Lok Sabha elections, she faced ED. And believe me, morning 6 o'clock, the ED people entered her bedroom. See, entering a women's bedroom and torturing her at that kind of thing, and they kept her stood like 12 o'clock in the night. So how do you expect us to say that there's no leadership? There's a leadership. People are contesting. They want to contest elections. The only thing is they just topple us. That's it. We have to face ED, CBI, income tax. Ashok Gehlot ji is facing CBI inquiries and ED inquiries. The only man left is Sachin Pilot. Now you want to send ED and CBI to Sachin Pilot also, then that's fine. Hooda ji is facing ED, CBI. What do you want?
Okay. Asif Bhamla, respond to this, the weaponization of the Enforcement Directorate.
They've killed democracy within the party and outside the party. 1 moment, please. We just heard BJP member of parliament. He said, "हम तनाव मुक्त हो गए हैं." What kind of tanav is this? Can my BJP friend tell us what kind of tanav is this? That all the member of parliament, all the BJP faces are under what kind of tanav? Everyone knows. I think all the speakers over here knows what kind of tanav it is.
नहीं, ये तनाव की बात तो हर इलेक्टेड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव को रहता है, चाहे वो किसी भी पार्टी का है। इतने साल के आपने पब्लिक सर्विस में दिया है, अब वो तो बीजेपी का मेंबर है ना, आपके हिसाब से तो वहां बीजेपी के मेंबर को
आसिफ साहब उन्होंने कहा मेरी टिकट कटने पे मैं तनाव मुक्त हो गया, तो ये टिकट कटने पे कैसे तनाव मुक्त होता है?
तनाव सामाजिक जीवन में, क्योंकि
everyone feels good being a member of parliament.
हमारे
लोगों
के समस्याओं को अंजाम देते हैं, वो उस किस्म का तनाव से मुक्त हुआ है। वो ये हमारे वहाँ वो परंपरा नहीं।
So serving people was a tanav for him. So serving people was a tanav for BJP MP.
When you're serving people for so many years, multiple
because you don't have anything to say in past 5 years, 10 years. You don't have anything
of your constituency. और जहाँ तक किदवई साहब की बात है, तो मैं तो सिर्फ यही कहूंगा कि लोग भी जानते हैं कि तेल देखते, तेल की धार देखते, उन्हें पता है किस पौधे को कितना पानी देना चाहिए। और फिर जब आप कहते हैं मोदी जी को, तो उन्होंने भी, हमने भी शुरू किया था दो सांसदों से, तो लेकिन इस पर मैं एक ही छोटा सा शेर कहूंगा कि गिरते हैं शहर सवार मैदान जंग में, वो तिफल क्या गिरे जो घुटनों के बल तले। चले
रशीद, आपको मौका तो देना पड़ेगा जवाब देने का इसका, तो बिफोर कार्तिकेय, रशीद किदवाई, गो अहेड।
No, this is for, I think he's speaking from a political position and I can't be responding on behalf of, so to say, Congress party. But Barkha, on a very serious note, that there is a lot of difference between a political party that is resourceful. I mean, we can, you mentioned about weaponization of ET, but that's not just one aspect. The whole entire elections have become very expensive, and it's not my contention of today. So Congress is finding very difficult to match BJP in terms of resources, because elections have become very expensive, whether it's a university election or assembly election or Lok Sabha election. In nutshell, and when you have income tax, putting a Congress, a freeze on Congress accounts and all, I think this is grossly unfair. Again, I am saying the Congress may have violated some, income tax laws, etc., but the timing of it is very, very poor and atrocious. You can't stop, 105 crores or whatever the political party has, and not to let them at the time of elections. I think Kharge ji is right on that. So, Mr. Asif Saab, in this election, this is a strong arm tactic. This is not being, allowing, neutral level playing field.
But yet, it's important, Rasheed, to pick up what Anurag said, that if you wear and if you create an environment of winnability, money does come. The Congress's biggest problem is not the absence of money. Would you concede that today? Rasheed,
No,
1 minute, Asif.
No, I think it's not just one thing. I agree. See, the Congress should have taken a stand on Ram Mandir. There are a lot of disquiet in North India and people leaving party and all has to do with, Pratishtha ceremony. When many people like Suresh Pachori told me that, the Congress ne thukra diya, Congress was boycotting it. So all these things, I think ideologically, Congress should have, got itself in place. I'm not saying necessarily this. We look at CA. Is Congress opposing it? They are not. They are saying a lot of things, but at the same time, when it comes to the crunch, they did not vote against CA, or they're not launching any mass movement. This is a problem. Congress on emotive issues falling between two stools, and there are a lot of emotive issues are Barkha. They are all over. I mean, that is Mr. Modi, Asif Saab's party credit.
Yeah, Asif ji, please, I have to close. Asif Bhamla, yes. Yes.
देखिए, प्रॉब्लम ये है कि ये जिस चीज को सपोर्ट करते हैं, उनके अलायंस विपरीत बात करते हैं। अगर आप देखें तो सेना इज इन फेवर ऑफ सीए and Congress today, they're meeting. So the narrative of their own alliances goes against them. So what are they going to do? You see, वो प्रपोज एक बात करते हैं और वहाँ जमीनी हकीकत कुछ और ही होकर बदल जाती है।
ये आपकी बात सही है, with apologies to Kapil, that there is a degree of ideological dissonance within the India alliance, even as Rahul Gandhi calls this election a vichardhara ki ladai. Kartikeya, closing word. Kartikeya Batra.
No. I wanted to respond to Anurag, but it seems he's left. But, he's been on the field, but I'm guessing that a lot of us have been on the field. So to say that, we don't know things about funding, I think is a little unfair. Let me tell you something, Barkha. You rightly said that winnability gets you money, and that is apparent in states like Telangana and Karnataka.
Correct.
Having said that, does that mean that the field is level playing. No. A level playing field would have been where, irrespective of your chances, you would have some people contributing money without any fear of vendetta from the incumbent government. लोग हवा क्यों देख रहे हैं? क्योंकि लोग डरते हैं कि अगर वो हवा के विरुद्ध जाएंगे तो जिसकी तरफ हवा चल रही है, they have the weapons and the means to punish them. That is the fundamental problem, and it works both ways. Tomorrow, if the Congress comes to power, they will do the same, is what my feeling is. And so it is a structural problem in Indian politics. Leadership deficit compounds this problem. But that's just right. The fact that good leadership gets you the money doesn't mean it's a level playing field. But, it means... But
it's a chicken and egg argument, because the point is that where the Congress has run a good campaign, the lack of the level playing field has not mattered.
But Barkha, you can have some seed capital in terms of just good effort, good messaging. You know, like the Aam Aadmi Party started from scratch in a state like Delhi because they were able to use new means in a cost-effective way. And then the money came towards them. My point is, you have one leader, one good message, and a basic amount of effort and resources. You make the hawa in your direction and the money flows. But I will end my argument again by saying, does that mean that the field is level playing? Absolutely not. We need structural reforms in electoral finance. It's a question that the whole world is grappling with. We are not an exception.
Yes.
So to say it's a level playing field is kind of naive. And if Anurag were here, I would have said it. That, I think that's a very naive argument to make. Yeah.
Okay, we'll have opportunities to discuss this as soon as or as early as tomorrow when the electoral bonds data is available on the Election Commission website. I personally actually don't think it's going to be an electoral issue. I sometimes think that what we debate in our navel-gazing universe, the voter is not concerned with. But let's see what emerges in that data. If anything emerges from that alphabet soup, it's going to take time to make sense of it all. But the point is well taken. The larger philosophical conversation, how do you fund elections? How do you create a level playing field? Doesn't take away from the fact that the Congress should have put everything it had into the fight of its life, and Rasheed and Kartikeya and Anurag made the point that hasn't happened. Kapil Yadav, as I said, not an enviable position to come out and bat for the Congress today, given what a tough fight you have on your hands. So thank you first for joining us. Thank you to Asif Bhamla, to Kartikeya Batra, Rasheed, and earlier to Anurag. Always a pleasure to have all of you with us, and to our audience, see you tomorrow. Thank you. Mojo's story has always made a commitment to its viewers to go to where the story is. And as you can see here, we are at the epicenter of the Israel war on Gaza. We are right at the front line, about 1 mile from the Gaza Strip, as the Israeli military gets ready with its tanks and its gunners to begin its final frontal assault that will take troops into Gaza. As we said, we are not like other organizations. We believe in giving you all sides of the story objectively and as much as possible from the ground. And that's exactly what we're doing here, covering the biggest global story today from the epicenter of the war zone. So please, we need your support. Support us, become a Mojo member, subscribe to us, spread the word, and thank you for your support.